So, new units as per usual. We've got a Crusader knight. Hit points are 1,000 against a green female knight. But this looks modern. 800. So hit points are almost even. Let's get to it and see what happens so we can work out an attritional battle. Knight gets in the first strike. Steps back. And she's hit again in the second strike first. So who's going to do the third strike first? The female knight. Even though the Crusader knight's got 200 more hit points. Did she dodge that? I'll have to say, because she's hit him again on the fourth stroke. And she's moving backwards and using her longsword to hit him again. See, he goes in for the strike and she moves back. And then she strikes and hits him. Just check quickly. Yep, her hit points is going down less. His hit points are going down faster. Because she's retreating. Interesting. Even though she's got less hit points. So let's try and do an attritional battle. Trying to figure out the numbers there for round 2. Made it 12,000 by 9,000. And the reason being for that is because of the hit points and because they reverse. Knights will get in the first strike. Not always. But it all depends if the green knights will reverse. See, knight strike first. My only concern here with this one, put it back into real time, is if the green knights keep reversing into the wall and the red knights can't finish. But because it's with swords, not like with guns, they are hitting. So far the attritional rate is faster against the knights, even with the increase of 3,000. The Crusader knights, that is. They're losing faster. They're down to the same numbers as the green knights. Still too strong. Still too powerful. So the ratio of 2-to-1 might have been better. But even then, I think the green knights will still be stronger. They're trying to outflank on this side. They've gone into the hills and are outflanking on this side, forcing the Crusaders to reinforce, which they do have in the centre. The Green Knights have only lost 1,000, and the Crusaders have lost more than half already. So it's going to be a foregone conclusion. We could actually do a third round, but I can't even do 2-to-1 because I think the Green Knights are still too powerful. I might have to make it 3-to-1 to make it an attritional battle. So I'm working out when you're trying to do this sort of thing, depending on how much time you want to spend. So on this one, if you wanted to do a big battle, but you didn't want to spend loads of time, maybe 30,000 to 10,000. 30,000 Crusaders, that is, against 10,000 Green Knights. If you wanted to do an even bigger battle, it will take longer. Of course, you can do that. So if I was to do a third round for large forces, it'd have to be something like that, 3-to-1. Even then, I think the Crusaders would be hard pressed. Because look at the green numbers, they're just not going down. 4 or even 5-to-1 might actually be better to give them a chance. They're just encircling on both flanks. They're just going to wipe out the Crusaders. So if I make it 5,000 Green Knights against 25,000 Crusaders on a third round, that might be better. It says already 2 rounds of this. So as soon as this one's over, let's try that for a third round. There you go. Didn't take too long either. Go straight in there and start it. And you'll see by the numbers, it's 5-1. So we've done already the slow strike, so let's get going with the 4th round in full normal speed. If you did a bigger battle yourself, like a million years or something, you could use a speed up or increase in speed in your editing software, which I could do, but because I'm actually blind testing every unit, almost every unit, if not every unit as well, I'm recording it in real time as well. So on this one, the numbers of the Crusaders, there they are trying to encircle. So the Green Knights have to reinforce to stop being encircled completely. And they're doing this on both flanks, even on the hills here. They're actually being squeezed a little bit more. They're a bit more spread out on the other flank. The hills are really pushing them. The Crusaders have the numbers and the depth. But, like I said, the Greens have the bigger broadsword and the harder hitting, even though, as we've looked, they've just got a little bit less hit points. So, although you think that would hinder them, it's actually, those long broadswords are actually helping. Because they're a newer character, so heavier hitting and punching. It's basically the equivalent. The way it's done is like if you had some old age, in this case the Crusader Knights fighting against a modern knight or soldier with a gun, and they've just got a broadsword. They've got a newer, more fancy sword, which is actually doing more damage. And if you remember round 1, where they were actually striking and then moving backwards, the Crusaders weren't actually getting a good strike in. They couldn't actually lean into. The green female knights were moving backwards. The centre line's holding. It's just a battle. Not going to change there. They're not spreading out. The green knights aren't really retreating. They're just trying to manage the encirclement. Both sides still have enough forces. If we now look at the numbers, the Green Knights have gone to nearly half their number, and it's the same for the Crusaders. They're now at half. They're both almost at half now, exactly. So this is the perfect attritional battle. But the Crusaders are now losing a little bit more faster than the Green Knights. So the 5-1 ratio was perfect. At this point, it made them both go to the halfway point, literally half their numbers. So I'm glad I made it 5-1 and not 3-1. They are now being squeezed on this flank, and in a funny shape for the flank on this side, but still having to reinforce. But they're only down to, well, they've got 2,000. But the Knights, their death rate has slowed a little bit. Still going quite quickly, to be honest. Speeded up again. The Green Knights' loss rate is quite slow. Too slow, to be honest. If they can hold on to their numbers, because they've got enough reserves in the centre. But they are being squeezed, as you can see, pinch squeeze on this flank. So they're going to be hit from both sides. This will take out more Green Knights, which is what you want. As you can see, their numbers are going down pretty quickly now, in the sense they've lost another more than 500. They're being really pinched on this flank. On the other flank, they're being pinched again, but they still got good reserve pushing here. And the centre reserve, which is smashing the Crusaders, because they're now having to flank the centre. They've got lots of reserves on the flanks, which is good. But there's all this centre, which they're having to reinforce, both the flanks and the centre. In fact, the Green Emerald Knights have split them in two. It's now become two battles. And the lines will now extend either side. The Green Knights are down to less than 1,000. But the Crusaders are down to only 1/5. Both again at 1/5, so that's actually still 2-to-1 ratio. They need to be 5-to-1. They are 5-to-1 if it was 5,000, nearly 1,000. So it's actually still working out. It's technically could still go anyway, but the Greens, if they can hold their numbers just that little bit longer and take out enough Crusaders, they can do it. But the Crusaders still have those numbers. They're doing well on this side, but the Greens are going to be almost encircled on this side. They're not reinforcing it. The Crusaders are trying to outflank them desperately, as well as pinch them on this flank. Created a small little indent here, so they're hitting the Green Knights on both sides, stopping them from reinforcing. Almost encircled them again here, as well as on the other side, which is now a separate battle. Whoever wins on this flank here will have reserves. Actually, the Green Knights have got the numbers. But their numbers are now just a few hundred. Can the Crusaders hold on long enough? It's working out absolutely perfectly as I would want it to. They've now got more than 5-to-1 ratio. The Greens are holding, but there's more on this side for both. Whoever wins this side will have reinforcements to help. That could tell us how the main battle is going to win. Looks like the Greens are losing. And they're finally being encircled on the other side as well. It looks like the Crusaders are going to win. They've now fully encircled the Green Knights. And they just couldn't do it. They started out really well. And there we go. The Knight Crusaders have won it. But only just. Again, if you like, a Pyrrhic victory. The cost was very high. There's the battle shape as well. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.